And welcome everyone to this edition of Biz Talk here on CGTN in our special coverage of the 6th China International Import Expo. I'm Michael Wang. Well, this year we have over 3,400 exhibitors and nearly 400,000 professional visitors registered to attend the 6th CIIE. It is the largest, the biggest CIIE on record. We have two exhibitors with us in our special studio overlooking the iconic skyline of Shanghai, Swedish furniture giant IKEA, and one of the world's largest food producers and distributors, Dole. So joining me in the studio are Pontus Erntel, who is the President and Chief Sustainability Officer of IKEA China, and also Runner Yang, who is a Vice President and General Manager of Dole China. So Runner, Pontus, thank you so much for joining us on the program, and look at that fantastic view behind us. It's going to be even better once the Lujiazui skyline lights up. We're going to see a beautiful light show. So this is the 6th CIIE, if I'm not mistaken, for both IKEA as well as for Dole. So Pontus, let me get your take first in terms of why be at the Import Expo for 6 years in a row. What does this platform mean for IKEA China?
First of all, thank you for having me, and I can only agree, the view is amazing. So let's see the night coming along, basically. You're right, we have been with CIIE for 6 years from the start, basically, and it's a highlight of the year, I must say. I think it's a place where we have been happy to be for all the years. It's a place where we can build and maintain relationships with governments, authorities, business partners, but also as a platform towards the bigger consumption, let's say, consumers in China, with also being able to launch new products, etc., etc. And on top of that, I think it's also that of course, for us, home furnishing have been one trend over these 6 years, of course, since we're in home furnishing, but it's also about sustainability as one of the key trends over these years. Yeah. And I think it's a great place to come together to discuss on these kind of topics. And I'm just coming from the Sustainable Consumption Forum, where IKEA has been one of the supporting companies just before this meeting up with you here tonight. So I think it's also to have it as a platform for those kind of discussions and finding the way forward.
And I'll come back to that sustainability forum in just a second, but Runner, I want to get your take as well in terms of why do you think it's important to participate in the CIIE?
Well, I totally agree with what Pontus just mentioned. I think CIIE is the great platform which can offer the good opportunity for the company and a brand like Dole to connect with our bigger customers, with different level of government authorities, and more importantly, we can leverage this very influential platform to make our brand to be known by more and more Chinese consumers. Yeah. So this is very important to us.
So it's a super connecting platform, I guess,
exactly.
With consumers, with policymakers, with companies from all around the world.
Exactly.
And of course, we have to talk about what each of the exhibitors are highlighting. So Runner, how about I start with you? What is Dole highlighting at the 6th CIIE?
Well, now Dole is the company and the brand with 172 years, history, and it is maybe the one of the leading largest fresh food company in the world. So we always want to bring more and more good quality, nutritious, great taste food to China, to Chinese consumer. And this year we proudly introduced two new products to China market. One is the Philippine Puya durian. Another one is a papaya, which was grown in our own orchard in the Philippines. So this is two new products. We are very pleased to have a chance to introduce and bring to China market in this CIIE.
Yeah, so I see the papaya. I'm not sure if our audience can see. So we have the papaya, the durian, the pineapple, and bananas from Dole, proudly displayed in our studio here. So it's interesting. So this is durian from the Philippines.
Yes.
So previously, I think we had durian from, if I'm not mistaken, Malaysia, Vietnam, and Thailand coming into the China market.
Yes.
And I was wondering, why did you want to bring in the Philippine durian as well? Sort of, what is the competitive advantage of the durian from the Philippines compared to durians from the three countries that I mentioned?
Well, I would say the durian from different regions has their own unique advantage and benefit.
Yeah.
I think the good things about durian, first of all, durian is still a faster growing the fruit in China market. In the past 5 years, the year-on-year growth rate in China is about more than 20%, amazing growth potential. And based on our estimation, probably come to the 2025 or 26, durian will reach more than 100 billion RMB. That's the huge business we are talking about. And the durian have, it's a fresh fruit. It will grow in a different, season. And with the Philippine durian joining to the bigger family, then we can prolong the fresh durian supplement in the market. Therefore, Chinese consumer has more chance and more time to enjoy fresh durian in China.
I feel like there's definitely a boom in terms of consumer interest here in China for durian. So durian in its fruit form, durian ice cream, for example, durian cakes of all kinds, durian pastries. Pontus, are you okay with durian? I mean, this is an acquired taste. My feeling is you either like it or you don't like it. Are you able to, take the taste of the durian?
I am actually.
You're
I
okay
learned to like it when I lived in Vietnam 15 years ago. So
wow,
I have some experience with it. It's not what I eat every day. I need to be honest about that. So, for sure.
Understandable. Yeah. Okay, so huge market potential for the Philippine durian here in the China market. What about the papaya? Runner, talk to us more about the papaya in terms of where it's grown. It's grown in the Philippines, you mentioned, right?
It's grown in the Philippines.
Yeah, and what is the advantage of this papaya specifically for the China market, you think?
Well, I think, in my view, maybe papaya is a little bit under, evaluate the fruit among the Chinese consumer. In fact, papaya has very high vitamin C, content.
Yeah.
Compared with the papaya vitamin C content, it's even more than many kinds of citrus products. Right.
That's good to know. Didn't know that. Okay.
Yes. And then this papaya is a very good, also the nutrition, supplement to different age of the consumers, no matter it's the kids, women or men or older people. So we think papaya, with the great nutrition value, high vitamin C, can provide, the good, health value to the consumer. Plus, because this papaya grow in the our Philippine own orchard. The weather is very suitable for papaya growth, so the taste is great, and even more sweeter than probably than the China local grown papaya. Right? So you got to try it.
Okay, I'm going to take your word on the sweetness because some of the papaya that I've tried, it's just not as sweet. So I understand the health benefits, but it can be just a bit sweeter because my impression for Chinese consumers is that they like sweeter fruits.
They like
right when it comes to, let's say, blueberries, raspberries, perhaps some of the more traditional sour fruits. The Chinese consumer taste is definitely the sweeter is better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pontus, let me come to you in terms of what IKEA is highlighting, showcasing at this year's CIIE.
Yeah. But first, thank you, Runner. I must say it's exciting. You're opening a door to a new world, I think, for me also. So next time I go to the grocery store, I will look with new eyes for sure.
Yeah.
No, coming back to CIIE, it's a number of things. We talked about sustainability before. I think one of the highlights is really we have a 22 square meter sustainable home, showcasing how to really work with limited resources in terms of space, in terms of wallet size, but also how to really make the best of the situation, both from sustainable living, but also how to showcase some of how we are working from a supply setup and then from a circularity perspective.
Yeah.
This is one. Secondly, it is around digitalization, and it's both about smart home digitalization. So we're showcasing some of the new speakers from the Symfonisk collection, which is developed together with Sonos. On continuing on the digital note, it's also about the PAX planner, so the wardrobe planner that has been developed here in our digital hub China, which is AI engineered, but it's also that will be used in many other countries as well. And I think it's an example of what has been developed for the China market that is also used for other markets.
Yeah.
And then, of course, some new products. We have a preview of the 80-year collection. So it's some old design classics that are coming back. Some really cool classics from the 60s that is soon coming to the stores. But it's also for the Chinese New Year collection. It's starting to be a little bit of a tradition that we showcase the new Chinese New Year collection.
Yeah.
So this is the one that will come to the stores in a couple of weeks' time.
Right.
It's influenced from inspired from the Song dynasty with the vases and with the persimmons.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it's also about the dragon, Year of the Dragon.
Yes, absolutely.
And all of this done with an IKEA twist.
Yeah.
So on the back side, you have the handle for a little bit of pillow fight, maybe.
Pillow fighting, okay. So when I took a look at that, I thought it was to keep your hands warm, but it's for pillow fighting. That is
both,
genius.
I think.
To keep your hands warm and pillow fighting.
Yeah.
I think the other pillow idea is also very cool. So taking inspiration from the Song dynasty, so this would be a Chinese dynasty that existed about 1,000 years ago. And in the previous CIIE, you told me you drew inspiration from the Ming dynasty. Any idea in terms of next year, in terms of your pillows, which dynasty it's going to be? Are you going to give us a preview of that? Don't know yet.
It's too early to say.
Work in progress. Pontus, I want to follow up on the digital aspect of IKEA because you mentioned that IKEA has sort of maybe developed this digital tool just for digital solution, I would say, right, for the China market. Now that's being applied to the global markets for IKEA. So would you say that Chinese consumers are pretty digitally savvy in terms of how they want to look at their products and services? How much significance and importance do you place on digital for IKEA?
Absolutely. I think this is a market that is really in the forefront. I think it's very exciting to be present in the market, to learn and develop with the China market. And I think that, I mean, when we see how people are shopping, what omni-channel transformation have meant historically, and is meaning now going forward as well. So this is absolutely true, and it's so much to learn and develop with here in China, which means that we also have invested in making sure that we have a digital hub here in China to develop and learn from the market, and also to implement in other markets as well.
How many IKEA big box stores are there in the China market right now? So the first store, you were telling me earlier, opened in 1998. So 25 years ago was IKEA's first physical presence in the China market, right?
Correct.
Same thing with Dole, 25 years in the China market. How many big box stores are there now in China?
35.
35, spread all across the country.
Yep.
Your digital capabilities, so if a Chinese consumer wants to purchase IKEA products, but there is not an IKEA store in his or her city, they can use the app. And in terms of distribution, logistics, and infrastructure, can you get that product to a place where you don't have a physical presence?
Absolutely. We have a very good coverage throughout the country.
Yeah.
You can use the IKEA app. We're present on Tmall. We have the WeChat mini program. And then, of course, we're also available on over phone and our remote customer meeting point.
Gotcha. Runner, how do you think about digital? So when I was there earlier this morning at the Dole booth, jam-packed. As with IKEA, when I was there was a show going on in the IKEA booth, a lot of people, a lot of interest, because look, IKEA has great food too, and you had a food exhibition there also. Runner, ton of people at the Dole stall. One of my colleagues was actually doing a live broadcast at the Dole Pavilion when I was there. So how does Dole think about digital? Live stream e-commerce, for example, is huge in China, and I would say that's sort of a unique thing to the China market. How do you think about digital at Dole?
Well, definitely, I think a digital wave is heavily, changing people's life and their shopping habits and behavior in China market.
Yeah.
And we saw a very clear trend like the e-commerce, like the live stream broadcast, like O2O, this type of, business China become, more and more important. It's a booming in China market. So that's why in order to fit for this changing consumer behavior, we also invest a lot, to digitalize our business, and we work with a lot of, companies to try to enlarge our, business on the e-commerce, like Hema, like Pupu, like Dingdong, like Meituan.
Yeah.
So this is all the good digital platform we can reach out, to the consumer, in many more cities, in more occasions.
Yeah.
So it's very important, and it's a clear rising trend in China.
Are you on live stream e-commerce though, Runner? Because I've bought a lot of fruit
yes.
on the live streaming platform.
Exactly.
So the way the influencers position the fruit,
yes.
The way they sell it is very attractive.
I think food is a very good, product selling in this kind of a live stream, broadcast platform, because it create the tremendous interest and crave when you see people demonstrate that the delicious fruit in front of the camera and they eat, you can enjoy their eating and then create your desire, want to try, want to buy this fruit by yourself.
It creates an impulse to buy. At least when I look at it, I feel like, oh, I got to try this.
Exactly.
So you mentioned, of course, Dole is a producer and distributor of fresh fruit.
Yes.
So I want to ask about the infrastructure logistics on your end as well. So fresh fruit, in my mind, could spoil easily. So how do you get your products distributed across China? I mean, how's the logistics, the cold chain in this country? How's that progress coming along?
Okay, I think you touch a very important question for the fresh food business. So the transportation logistic is the crucial and is the anchor point for our fresh fruit business success. In order to deal with this kind of challenges, we set up about 10 distribution centers located in different parts of China, like Shanghai, Beijing, Guangzhou, Shenyang, and also Chengdu, Guiyang, so that we can allow us to ship the products all over the nation with 1 or 2 days, and then we quickly work with our customer, put our fresh fruit on shelf, and this product can sell to the consumer ASAP. So this is the important way we remain our freshly sold fruit.
Yeah. Well, good to hear that you have a distribution center up in Shenyang. So this would be the capital of Liaoning province,
exactly.
The northeast of the country. So I guess Chinese consumers up in the northeast part of the country, which can be very cold. Right now, I think it's like minus 13, 14 already in some parts of China's northeastern provinces. So they can enjoy, I guess, fresh southern hemisphere or tropical fruits in a very cold place during the winter time.
Yes.
Good to hear that.
I can tell you, in fact, in the winter season, the coconut is the best selling product in the eastern part of China.
In the eastern part of China? Okay.
Yes, in the north part of China. I guess because of they all get the heater in the home. It's very warm and very hot. They like to drink the fresh coconut water in home. Right?
Where are Dole's coconuts from? So I've recently bought a lot of coconut from Thailand.
Yes.
Where are Dole's coconuts from?
Our coconut is also coming from Thailand.
From Thailand.
Yes, because Thailand coconut, can give a very good aroma and the fresh and sweet taste. Chinese consumer like this kind of taste.
Yes.
So we brought a lot of coconut from Thailand.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be interesting to know. So coconut is one of your best sellers. What else? So durian, is that up there? The growth rate is very fast, but what other fruits or vegetables are popular with Chinese consumers?
Well, our two superstar fruits. One is our sweet-tail banana, and another one is our pineapple product. These two products also grow in our own orchard in the Philippines. In Philippines, we have more than 40,000 hectares. Self-owned orchard to grow banana and pineapple, so that we can ensure we can bring these two products to China market every day. Yeah. So this is the biggest, selling fruit in China. Where at the same time we quickly develop like a durian, like a coconut, like a blueberry products to China market.
Yeah. Same question to you, Pontus, in terms of maybe give us an idea of what really resonates with the Chinese consumer these days. So I took a look at your storage solutions. I think great idea, right? Because you have to use all available space, I think, in your room. What really connects right now, I guess, with the Chinese consumer? Because consumer tastes, I feel, in this country, they change very fast. So what's really sticking right now?
No, and I think storage across the home, as you mentioned, this is definitely one of the, let's say, backbones of IKEA and the range, where we have a lot of competence from our 8 years of working with home furnishing, definitely. If you look at the Chinese market, we're very strong in food. If you compare to other markets that we're operating in, let's say that food is very popular. And within food, it's of course the meatballs that comes through, and some of the other, let's say, dishes. And probably the biggest seller when it comes to food is our 1 hour R&B ice cream. We have kept the price on 1 R&B since the opening in '98. So in terms of pieces, it's probably the biggest seller, I think, for sure. If you look otherwise, what we see now is that right now and from January onwards, we see a good traffic back to the stores. Traffic, let's say the visitation is up 30% approximately from last year. And people are coming for food, for example, storage, and then of course also that our design services, our interior design service is also very popular. The whole room design and the possibility of designing and using the digital tools also in the store is very popular in terms of this, let's say, omni-integration in between a quick design for quick solutions, basically.
Yeah. Let's talk about sustainability, Pontus, because you mentioned you were at a sustainability sub-forum, I guess, of the CIIE. So the CIIE, there's the business exhibition where your companies are a part of, there are the country exhibitions, there is the high-level Hongqiao International Economic Forum and sub-forums of the Hongqiao International Economic Forum. So tell us more about the sustainability forum that you attended, Pontus. What were the key messages there, and what was IKEA's message at that forum?
No, but I think this is a good example of different, let's say, different parts are coming together. It's the business society, it is the policymakers, it's about the consumers, basically. Yeah. And looking at the sustainability topic from different angles, basically, and looking at what is it that needs to be done. For me, this is very much, to move the sustainability topic, it is really about everyone coming together. It is about the policymakers putting the right policies in place. It's the business communities coming together and doing the right steps, basically, in terms of offering the right, let's say, right kind of range and products, and making the right decisions in terms of how to build up supply chains, etc., etc. And it is about the consumers also to make a movement towards what is to take this in the right direction. Yeah. So we talked very much about both products, how to design the products from the beginning, so that let's say at IKEA we're guided by the People and Planet Positive strategy. When it comes to the product development, we have the democratic design, it's called. So it's basically 5 criteria that needs to be put in place when you develop the products, where sustainability is one of them, and the others are form, function, price and quality, for example. And especially I think that the price topic is one of the things that we discussed more around, because we need to make sure that affordability doesn't come at the premium. Sustainability doesn't come at the premium. Sustainability and affordability needs to go hand in hand, because that's when we can make a movement. And then also sharing some of the examples we have done around the circularity and also how we operate our units in a climate neutral way in some of the cases, and where we're really in the forefront, I think. Yeah.
So last year you were telling me, Pontus, that when it comes to last mile deliveries here in China, about 90%, using EVs. Correct. When it comes to last mile deliveries. Has that number moved up a little bit, or is there an aspiration to make it 100%, or is it impossible?
At IKEA we like to say that nothing is impossible. Right. So I think it's basically that we are moving this, but we're coming to a level, the first percentages are easier and then the last percentages, so to speak. So this is still the ambition with 100%, and now we're moving, let's say, gradually over time, basically, because it's also about how to solve some of these topics. Cold, we talked about the cold climate, for example, up in the north, how to work in those situations. But it can also be about the long distances, etc., etc. So we're on a journey in terms of reaching that one.
So when you take a look at Chinese consumers, and particularly the younger generation of Chinese consumers, are they really placing a premium in terms of buying and purchasing more sustainable products, sustainable furniture? Are you seeing that trend?
We see a big interest in terms of sustainability and a more sustainable life at home, and a healthier and sustainable life at home, especially among young people. And I think that if we look at the home furnishing trends, so to speak, what we see here, like we have seen in the rest of the world, also as a result of COVID, is that the role of the home is changing. That it becomes a place where you want to have more functionality into, that it plays more roles. It can be a place to exercise, a place to rest, a place to work, a place to socialize, etc., etc. So on one hand, it's this. On the other hand, we're also going and searching for value beyond functionality, let's say the functional value, and going more towards emotional value. It should be a place where you can rest and recreate, where you can where you can express yourself, so personal value. But it's also about the social value and the sustainable value, that people want to, we see an increase in terms of interest around materials, and the health aspects, both when it comes to furniture and when it comes to food topics, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Runner, same question to you in terms of how Dole China thinks about sustainability, because sustainability, I think that's a big element of your booth this year at the CIIE as well.
Oh yes, definitely. I think sustainability also is our commitment, in Dole company, right? So in Dole we call Dole Promise, right? So our mission is to bring essential, for all. Right? For Dole Promise, we said we targeted to have zero, fruit lost, zero carbon emission, and we are try hard to bring nutrition to 1 billion consumers. That's one thing we do. It's very interesting recently. No matter how good you are doing in the fresh fruit business, there's some more and less waste fruits, right?
Yeah.
How we are going to do that? And then we work with some high-tech company. They use the bacteria to eat up the waste fruit, and then they can produce the come from the waste food into the leather. We call the eco leather, and then they can make the eco leather to make many of this kind of small things,
Can we get
which is make a very interesting to consume. Maybe someday we can work together with IKEA.
Can
right?
make a sofa.
Yeah, we make the sofa. So this is the one example we showcase in this CIIE to let people know what things we are doing. To fulfill our commitment on the sustainability.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I actually saw a leather bag displayed at the Dole Pavilion, right? And that's made with, I guess, biomass material.
Exactly.
But you're not selling the bag. You're not selling these recyclable or these new sort of materials made from biomass.
Right now, we didn't sell the products to the normal consumer, but we think this is maybe the good opportunity we can cooperate with other companies, how we can promote this concept to the consumer, because this is the eco leather is more environmental friendly, is matched with the sustainability objective better.
I mean, this is what I love about the CIIE, because you just encounter so many new innovative ideas along with product launches. And I was just going to say, let's make a deal right here, right on our live stream, IKEA with Dole, because you wouldn't think about that kind of combination.
Right.
So how about we just make the deal right now in terms of Dole's sort of eco leather in IKEA sofa, and we'll call it a day. We'll call it a night.
Love that.
And by the way, we've got this beautiful cruise going along the Huangpu River right now. For folks who are watching abroad who haven't experienced the beautiful city of Shanghai, if you come to the city, you got to try a cruise on the Huangpu River. Have you tried, Pontus?
I have.
The night cruise and the day cruise, and enjoy that.
It's beautiful. I also
Runner, of course, you have,
Yes, I bring my parents when they visit Shanghai. They love to see the beautiful scenery.
Speaking of Shanghai, so this year marks the 10th anniversary of the founding of the Free Trade Zone in Shanghai. And Dole, your China headquarters is based here in Shanghai, right?
Yes,
Runner?
yes.
Talk to us about Shanghai as a place to do business, its business environment.
Well, we set up our business in Shanghai since 1998. So definitely, I think the very important reason Shanghai is the big city, right, with more than 30 million consumers, and they are looking for better quality life. So and also in Shanghai, Shanghai government offer very friendly and open business environment for the company like Dole. That's why we decide to set up our business headquarters in Shanghai. And with the business set up in Shanghai, we expand our business to other part of China. Right? So we also set up other companies in Beijing, in Guangzhou. So I think that's the fundamental reason. Oh, I forgot to mention another very important reason is because Shanghai probably have the biggest port, around the world. Our import fruit coming from different part of the world, so it's very easy to make the transportation, from other part of the world, other countries come to China. So this is another very important reason we set up our headquarters in Shanghai.
I mean, the Shanghai port, one of the world's largest.
Exactly.
In terms of throughput. Pontus, what about you? You're based here in Shanghai too, right?
Yep,
so,
correct.
But you've only been in Shanghai, I guess, for 2 years. What's your overall impressions of the city and I guess the city to do business?
Amazing. I think it's the only way of describing it. Blown away of everything, basically. I think we discussed a little bit before. It's this dynamic place to live in, and with all the mixes of all the influences, I think it's really a world city. Yeah. Fantastic. And in terms of doing business, I can only second what Runner was talking about. We have a good support and good cooperation with the local authorities and government. And then I think as a consumer market, we talked about China being really in the forefront when it comes to digital development, consumerism, etc., etc. And I think that also within China we can see that Shanghai really being in the forefront when it comes to also exploring new solutions, etc. Yeah. That's why we also have used Shanghai as a place to also test new formats and ideas, basically. But overall, it's a market that we believe a lot in. Next autumn, in a year approximately, we will open our fourth big size stores in Lincoln. Together, it's a co-development together with the shopping center Livat, and a big development that we're looking forward to a lot.
What's going to be special about this store? Is anything different? Can you unveil any of that right now?
I think it's the combination that we have the IKEA store together with the shopping center Livat. We have that in some other locations. So far, even after 25 years, we haven't had it in Shanghai. But finally, it's coming, basically. And this integration, and that it becomes a fun day out to this, let's say, also experience a big shopping center together with IKEA. I think it will be one of those topics. And then, of course, in the detailed planning, we're not there yet, so there will be some cool things to be seen, basically.
Fair enough. But by the way, I want to show our audience the skyline has now absolutely lit up. As you can see, Lu Jiazui right now, this wonderful light show every single night. The Pearl TV tower is up. I mean, this is just a fantastic view. I could never get enough of this view, and if I could do this program every day here on CGTN, I think that would be a fantastic view. To look at that. That is absolutely stunning, absolutely beautiful. Let's talk about the bigger picture. So right now, the global economy, we might be seeing a bit of a slowdown in terms of global growth. And I want to just get both of your takes in terms of perhaps the significance of the China market for multinationals in this day and age. Runner, how about I'll start with you on this front. Because we see this country transitioning to a consumption-led economy, which is good for both IKEA and Dole, right? So in this kind of market environment, what is the significance of the China market for multinationals?
Well, I think first of all, we are still have the strong confidence and a commitment in China market, and as you just mentioned, I think China business is going through a transformation stage, which is for the consumer goods company, we could benefit of this transformation, right? And in this year, I think we are doing a very good business in China. Our business growth is meet with or even exceed our expectation. Right? I guess it's because of with the economy development, more and more consumers, they are looking more more healthier lifestyle, more nutrition food. So the high quality fresh fruit can fit for their growing needs. That's why we saw our fresh business is growing very well. It's not only for Dole company. I also talk with many, companies. They are also doing the fresh business. They all experienced a good development, in China in this year. Therefore, I think we definitely confidence in the China, market, and we hope we can continuously bring more and more good quality, high nutrition, fresh fruits to Chinese consumer.
How do you think about product innovation, by the way, Runner? Because this is a foodie nation. We love our food in this country, all different forms. So when you think about food innovation, walk us through a little bit of that.
Well, food innovation in our fresh, fruit business is how we can have more advanced varieties, and we grow up in the orchard with more better condition, and make sure the fruit come out naturally. They carry the nutrition and the taste. Instead of artificial stuff, you get things mixed together. So this is the innovation, in my view, for the fresh fruit business. That's why, like Dole, we invest a lot of effort, behind the scene. So we do a lot of, high-tech work, try to select better, varieties, genetics of the different fresh fruits, and we analyze the soil condition, the weather condition to ensure we can, grow the fruit in the most comfortable way, for fruit itself. So, and of course, after harvest, transportation is all involved in a lot of innovation and new way to taking care of the fruit. The end mission is how can we, bring the best food, to consumer. So this overview about innovation in the fresh fruit business.
I mean, again, it's a foodie nation, and it's increasingly a health and wellness nation. So you've got two massive trends going on for you there, runner for Dole China. Pontus, same question to you in terms of what do you think is the significance of the China market right now, at least for the MNCs?
No, but I think to start a little bit in a different end, I think it's China has been, is, and will remain a strategic market for us, and I think for many MNCs, without a doubt. I think we have also, looking back, that we have been operating here for 25 years with, let's say, with our stores, but we've been here longer when it comes to purchasing and doing business, basically. I think it's a market where we have also, let's say, we have grown together with the market, basically, and also benefited from it, learning and developing for the future. And this is something that I can see going forward remains the same principles. It is like Runner says, the market is transitioning. We have talked about this consumer trends, life at home trends is changing, but the key is really about how to keep up and develop together with these trends and transformation that is happening in the market. And we have the full value chain here as one of very few countries outside of Sweden. So we have product development, we have the production to a large extent here, we have shopping centers, we have stores, we have digital development, etc., etc. And I think that this is key, really, to be in China, both for being in China for China, but also to be in China to learn and develop for the rest of the world, basically.
Great stuff. Final question, and then we're going to end our program, because IKEA has a very famous, of course, food component in your stores. Pontus, you've been in China now for 2 years. Is there a famous, I wouldn't say famous, is there a favorite Chinese cuisine or a Chinese dish that you want to recommend to our viewers abroad?
When I want to treat myself for lunch near the office, I go for Chongqing noodles. It's my favorite.
Chongqing noodles.
Spicy Chongqing noodle. That's the best. A small place near the metro station.
This is so interesting because we had a guest yesterday. He's from Germany, and he said his favorite Chinese dish was Chongqing hot pot. So I guess the Chongqing flavor really sticks, I guess. Okay, so but Chongqing noodles, maybe describe that for our audience a little bit more. What is unique about Chongqing noodles? I mean, what are Chongqing noodles, I guess? So you got the spice element to it. What else is in the noodles?
Good question.
It just tastes good, it doesn't matter.
It's a little bit of a drier noodle. Drier, more al dente noodle, together with minced pork meat, some vegetables, peanuts, and some beans, I think it is. And where I buy it is a very small shop, but you can decide how spicy it should be. So I'm not at the top yet, but I'm maybe 75% of the spice so far.
Hey, I would recommend that bowl of noodles to our audiences abroad as well. Runner, you're a food company. I'm going to ask you the same question. First of all, your favorite Dole fruit, and then perhaps your favorite Chinese dish.
Well, my favorite Dole fruit definitely is our banana.
The banana,
so the banana, this is my favorite Dole fruit. For the Chinese dish, well, there's a lot of, wonderful, delicious Chinese, dishes. If you ask me, I maybe will choose the one is a steamed fish. Because I grew up in the Hubei province. That's the one typical we call Wuchang fish. It's the very famous, dish in my hometown. So that's my favorite, Chinese dish.
Got it. Okay. Hubei fish, steamed fish,
yes.
and then Chongqing noodles. Actually, one more question. I'm going to put both of you on the spot one last time. In terms of if you could give one piece of advice to business leaders around the world in terms of how to succeed in the China market, what would you say? Who wants to take that on first?
I think probably I can take first.
Runner, go for it.
I think the winning secret is understand the local consumer.
Yes.
Right? This is very important. We are doing business in China. We try to make delight our consumers. So the first step, we need to deeply understand our Chinese consumers.
Right.
That's my idea.
But is it more complicated to understand the Chinese consumer because it's such a vast country, over 1.4 billion people, different demographic groups, different parts of the country may have different tastes. Is it just a bit more difficult to understand the Chinese consumer and their tastes and preferences?
Well, I think as the multinational company, I think to understand local consumer is equally hard for any part in the world, right? So if we talk about a multinational company doing business in China, now the first step is to try to understand Chinese local consumer.
Yeah.
I think not only because of bigger population, more importantly is the China market is evolving, developing very fast, maybe in some speed.
Yeah.
We never see it before in other parts of the world.
Yes.
So because of this very changing environment, to make and you closely connect with Chinese consumer, their thoughts, their desire, their love is very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pontus, would you echo that or?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think to add, no, but I totally agree. I think this is
Yeah.
the key. But it's also a little bit universal because
Yes.
no matter what market you're in.
Yeah.
But I think that to add on to this one, because I totally agree. But I think it's also that to realize that, let's say that also to come with an open mind, because I think that the problem sometimes is also to come. When I came here, just a year and a half ago, also that I was seeing the world with a little bit of a European, let's say glasses, so to speak. And then I think it's also this, that to understand the market, to understand the consumer, but also to be open to really, let's say, let new impressions in, basically.
Right.
And I think it goes hand in hand with also the need of being present, basically.
Yes.
It's not something that you read in a newspaper about how the consumer in China is.
Yeah.
It's more, let's say, it's more complicated than that.
Being on the ground is very important.
Yes.
I guess especially in the post-COVID world, if you're a multinational with a significant presence, or at least a material presence in the China market, I think the executives should be on the ground and take a look from themselves in terms of how the China market is developing. Okay, gentlemen, we're going to leave it there. We're going to take, I guess, our cruise on the Huangpu River next.
Absolutely.
Pontus, thank you so much for joining us. Pontus Ertel, President of IKEA China, and of course, Runner Yang, General Manager of Dole China. Thank you to you both.
Thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that is going to do it for this edition of Biz Talk here on CGTN. I'm Michael Wang. Thank you so much for joining us in our special edition as we cover the 6th China International Import Expo. We'll see you next time.